Okay, cool. Cool.
Make it
All right,
cool.
everybody. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. And I have the brother Kala Genesis on with us again this Wednesday evening. And tonight's topic is Black conservatives. Is there really such a thing? Now, I think it was Amos Wilson who said, there's no such thing as a conservative because what is a conservative trying to conserve? I mean, what can a black person conserve? I think something to that matter.
Right, exactly. Excuse me. What exactly are you trying to conserve? Now, even though we're pressed for time tonight, I want to make it short and sweet. So I don't want to go through the whole diatribe of what I mean. Black people culturally, and most people are conservative in their value system. You know what I'm saying? What you have is black white conservatives. You know what I'm saying? You have black people. You know what I'm saying? With let's see, you have black-faced white people. You know what I'm saying? Running around calling themselves black conservatives. That means they just basically taking on all the worst attributes of white people and calling themselves conservative. Now, conservatism just doesn't necessarily mean you're a Republican. That's another thing I'm getting annoyed with. People say, well, I'm a black conservative, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to join the GOP. There are white conservatives who are in the Democratic Party. There are white conservatives who are in the Libertarian Party. It seems that black conservatives are using so-called conservatism to distance themselves from what they think is the popular view of black people. Say, I'm not one of them type of Negroes. You know what I'm saying? All black people vote Democrat. All black people are stupid. They're blind sheep and everything. So I'm going to be different. I said, well, what specific thing are you different about? You different about? Well, this, that, and the other thing. If the left wing says this, the Democrats say this, I'm gonna take the opposing view. Okay, so no, and that makes you a conservative. No, it doesn't make you a conservative. It just makes them opposed to the popular view of what they think black people should be. In all fairness, black people politically are losing. Like I said before, in 1988 was our last hurrah. You know what I'm saying? That was the last time Black America really had some political power. We're coming off the sanctions of South Africa. We had a lot of mobilization and stuff like that. So we used that mobilization we had in '88 to put some things on the table. We want minority set aside, minority contract, more affirmative action, all the stuff like that. EEOC, all these things they were going to do, but up against the white machine, Republican machine, which basically views any sort of advancement of black people using the government, because the government on the whole is supposed to protect the majority. If the government starts favoring the minority, right, even though the minority is downtrodden, it seems the government no longer loses legitimacy. So a conservative point of view is the government always has to have the legitimacy in the eyes of the majority population. So, like, the question may ask to a black conservative, what exactly are you trying to conserve? You know what I'm saying? If the popular opinion is that America is a white country and that anything that deviates from the norm is a liberalism, is far left, and everything else. And why would you uphold that sort of value system? I always ask black conservatives and everything like that. If you really took the conservative point of view, Brown versus Board of Education would have never happened. Like we talk about integration, how it damaged Black America and everything like that. But I'm gonna tell you right now, thanks to integration, large numbers of black people got exposed to professional careers, got exposed to better neighborhoods, got exposed to better schools, and some of them came back to the black community and did other things and everything, opened businesses, made new connections and everything. This idea that we were going to sit in the hood among ourselves and while they have the best and brightest among us trickling out of the community. That's another thing. Integration only allowed for larger numbers of black people to enter into the mainstream. There was always those type of black people up on top who had the education and knowledge and everything, who for hundreds of years always had association and connections with the white power structure in America. This is nothing new. The white power structure has always been in contact with our elite, our so-called intelligentsia, and all these people. The people called the boule. They've always had gave them instruction and privileges and benefits and everything. Most of the black colleges were founded by white philanthropy. So this idea that everybody was integrated at one time is a farce. What happened was integration was about the average black person taking hold of opportunities and into the mainstream. The black elite have always had access to the mainstream in America, and so my cough is back. Sorry, excuse me. Therefore, this idea that we have to we were just now getting, that's not true. The large numbers of black people enter the mainstream, right? Enter the mainstream for the first time, and a black middle class group. Not just that, but black people were exposed to different fields of study, different occupations, and different things inside of American culture. Now, people say, "Well, geez, we should stay where we at." Well, that's easier said than done. If all the jobs are over there in the white community, right? The better life is over there in the white community. The infrastructure is over there in the white community. You're going to do what you can to feed your family and make yourself a better life. You know. Now, if you were conservative and everything like that, you would most conservatives are like, well, black people should stay where they're at. White schools should stay white. Let's not race mix and everything. So I guess the black conservatives support the racist point of view. Now let's talk about what exactly is a conservative. This is the elephant in the room. The liberal conservative conundrum didn't appear until around 1957. I would say 55, 57. And it was a referendum on integration. It wasn't a referendum on the Vietnam War. It wasn't a referendum on fiscal taxes, because if you look at JFK, Eisenhower, all these people were pretty much hawkish on war and all the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Liberal versus conservative, as put by Walter Cronkite and all the people in the media, the Edward R. Morals of the time, was about, excuse me.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again. I'm going to Doug. I'm going to shout out to Doug, by the way, the world's greatest moderator. Doug, I'm going to ask Kala your question here shortly.
Okay. I'm back. The liberal conservative had to do with what the average white person thought of integration and assimilation of black people into America. It had nothing to do with the Vietnam War. It had nothing to do with taxes. It had nothing to do with the military. There were people on the far right that opposed the Vietnam War, and people on the far left, right? The thing that caused liberal versus conservative was the idea of, what do you think about black people? That's what it's all about. Liberal is another name for nigger lover. You know what I'm saying? Conservative is another name for bigot. Now, over the time period, right, people have cascaded conservatives as, well, conservatives are fiscally conservative. Then they've been running on that, right? Oh, we just want smaller government and all stuff like that. That's not the case. Most conservatives give sanctuary and cradle to racists. You know what I'm saying? That's the elephant in the room. That's what George Wallace's campaign exposed. That's what Nixon's Southern strategy exposed. All these things, the conservative movement is about bigotry and racism. You know what I'm saying? They dress it up as, okay, they don't sell it like that, right? They'll say things like smaller government, this, and the other thing. This is why they're so angry with Donald Trump. Donald Trump's a populist, right? If Donald Trump's walking around talking about, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to have trade tariffs, and we're going to do all the stuff like that. Well, the conservatives believe government has little responsibility for the economy. Let the economy and business make a profit, right? For the most part, right? that smacks in the face to nationalists who say, look, we have borders, we should have tariffs and all stuff like this, right? That's populism, right? Most white people are populists, but you can't sell populism with conservatism, right? Because if you sell populism with conservatism, it cancels each other out. So Donald Trump comes along and blows the lid off the whole thing. He's saying, well, wait a minute here. Conservative is like idea is like if a person we need cheap labor, so what? Give the people the Mexican visas, come over here, we're making money, this, that, and the other thing. The conservatives believe that the National Rifle Association should be lauded and worshipped because it's all right to sell guns and everything like that. Let's give everybody guns and let gun stores sell as much as guns because they're making money. Conservatives generally don't believe anybody should be restricted and making money. Everything's about turning a profit. This and other thing. That's how they get the majority of white people to go along with conservatism, right? Even if it hurts their own benefit, it doesn't even benefit them in places like Iowa and Kansas and all these people, places that never benefited from all these policies. You know. Now, what does conservatism have to do with black people, on the whole? If they sell conservatism as limited government, but the bottom line, they say limited government, but guess what? All the lobbyists, most of the lobbyists down there in Washington D.C. lobbying for big corporations, multinational corporations. Are you going to tell me those lobbyists are liberals? No. You know, it's all a big smokescreen that black people on the whole should have nothing to do with. And I'm going to explain to you why that engaging in this current political corrupt climate right now, engaging the political process by anybody calling themselves a liberal or left wing or conservative is disingenuous. People are lying to you. Black America does not have any vested interest in either one of these political parties. We don't benefit from the Democratic side. They're trying to increase the number of illegal aliens. And the conservative side, we don't benefit from Citizens United. Tell me what Citizens United do for the average black person. Citizens United allow for foreign companies to open up and advertise in American media to solicit votes and solicit participate basically in American electoral process through campaign, a limited campaign. That one, the judge that gave the opinion on that was a so-called originalist judge. What's his name that passed away? Judge Antonin Scalia. This is one. Oh, he's an originalist. He's an originalist. Six of the Constitution. Then why is he supporting Citizens United? How come none of these so-called originalists ever scaled back the fact that we launched a war that cost $4 trillion into Iraq? You know what I'm saying? But it's okay because defense contractors made a lot of money. We saw this back in the 1990s when Newt Gingrich was outed to being a fraud that he was and everything. And he's supposed to be a conservative, but he pushed NAFTA. Now, what is a conservative? Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich got behind closed doors, and Rush Limbaugh put his godfather-like blessing on NAFTA. You know what I'm saying? Which basically opened up the U.S. border, created a hemisphere, created more poverty than it wanted, and you have American companies going down to Mexico, and shipping goods. American border and sovereignty is compromised. People like Pat Buchanan, they silenced and said that's crazy. Oh, shut up, Pat. You said the other thing. But the bottom line, all these people with these corporations were making millions and billions of dollars. People like Pat Buchanan was like, wait a minute here. That's not a conservative thing to do. Conservative thing to do is protect the borders, build up American industries and everything like that. Push for fair trade, right? That's real conservatism. So I'm gonna ask you a question: this black conservatives, you're jumping in on a so-called conservative, getting ready to freaking buck. Let me. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I don't want to use that type of language tonight. You know what I'm saying? If I don't have to, you're ready to go out there and shuck it. Just go out there and just do stupid things and talk about you're conservative, and you don't even have a freaking a platform or anything that you're going with. The conservative movement don't even exist anymore. What the heck are you conserving? Just admit that you just want to be with the white folks. You see that as a winning team. You like seeing the white folks out there, and they look like, oh, that's America. And look, everybody gets caught up in that. Everybody wants to be part of a winning team. You see all those white people out there. We're gonna need Trump says we're gonna make America wealthy again. Yay, USA, USA. We're gonna make America wise again. Yay, USA, USA. And we are going to make America great again. Yay, yay. God bless you. God bless the United States. Or something even me, it goes down my spine when you see the crowd like that. Okay, I get that. I get it. Somewhere along the line in your in just living in America, you will like to say, well, I just want to cast my bucket down, and I just want peace. I understand that. I get that. I'm not hard on people, and I basically want to reach out to so-called black conservatives and show them another alternative. The nationalist movement, we understand that euphoria. You want to belong to something. You want to be part of something. You're sick of losing. You want to be on the right side of things, the right side of history and everything. And it seems like the white American and everything like that, the narrative of America is winning. And it seems like you're being left out. You know what I'm saying? And you're tired of being left out of America. You're tired of being, and you want to jump ship and just go off to the far reaches of conservatism and everything. And you don't care. And the rhetoric they say sounds good. It sounds good. There's a lot of problems with that, though. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I know that the bottom line is there's an awful lot of people in those movements that don't want anything to do with you. They don't care about your love for America. You know what I'm saying? There was a time where black soldiers came home in America.
Colin, can I ask a couple questions real quick? Or
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
okay. All right, cool. All right, so Doug, shout out to Doug in the chat room. He said, let me find it. Shout out to Bell Internet. Shout out to Internet. So we don't want to be conservative. We don't want to be liberals. We don't want to be involved in politics. We don't want to do what? We sure love to complain when shit happens, though. So what's his idea that, like, look, you have to participate somehow, and by not participating.
I look. I agree with that sentiment. I agree with that sentiment. Black people, like I said, the shit really starting to hit the fan. You know what I'm saying? We're out with the Democrats. F the Democrats. Blah blah. F Obama. F Hillary. F Trump. Blah blah blah. The black man is looking like they're more and more like they're fool. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's okay, black man. So if you want people to respect you and take you serious, what is your political position? You don't have one. Why? Because black America is not socialized right anymore. You know what I'm saying? We used to have stable communities whereas it was apparent there's a thing. Let me say something, a parable, right? What appears eventually becomes apparent, and sometimes apparent may not always be what it appears. You know what I'm saying? In other words, basically, because we are not socialized with each other on a one-on-one basis every day, we don't have these stable communities. We've given up on the church. We've given up on the black community. We've given up on marriage. We've given up on raising families. We've given up on all these things and everything. We don't have any sort of stakehold in America. This is what the problem is. Many of us do not have a stakehold in America anymore. You know what I'm saying? America is not just basically, when you look at other people, they don't just vote on their pocketbooks, right? They vote on what type of country do I want my family to grow up in? What type of leader, what type of value system do I want my kids growing up in? What kind of people do I want them around? You know what I'm saying? And then when they look at the different parties and different ideologies, they say, okay, this is the sort of thing I want to vote for. This is what I want. This is where I want to be. This is where my friends and coworkers and people around me and everything like that. This is the direction I think of my country that I want to be part of. This is the America that I want to be part of. Okay? Black America do not have that. You know what I'm saying? Only thing people give us is problems. You know what I'm saying? Problems that they know we can never solve. We don't look at ourselves, right? Instead of you taking your life, your personal life, and saying, you know something, well, what do I believe in? Well, I got a wife, kids, good job, good career. You know what I'm saying? I would like to pass this down. I like to see more kids in school and everything. So let's start on a local level. You know what I'm saying? But I think this movement right here, what we're doing, with activism, with community outreach and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? This is the way to go. Now if we had somebody advocating for us on the state level, this will be good, right? Along comes a politician and everything. He has a political feeling. Well, my political party says, something, what you guys are doing? That's a good idea. You know what I'm saying? We're going to sponsor this statewide and everything like that because you saw a vested interest of having this in your community, this in your community, and we think that's a good idea, right? But it's always have to be an individual politician or individual idea and a case by case basis. Then you can say, something, this guy right here of this political party, look what we got going on here. He saw what we were talking about. He said, yeah, this is a good idea, and we got activities going on. The kids are benefiting. This is going on right here. We said we have this problem here. We solve this problem right here. We're working across different lines of communication and everything. And I think things are going good. I think I just carved out a little piece of heaven brought it there. We got a nice community here. We reduce crime. We got youth job program. We got all this stuff right here going on and everything. I think this is the direction I think we're going to stay in. Now, who's this political party? Well, this guy just happens to be a Republican. I mean, I don't support the GOP, but hey, if this guy could give us all this stuff right here, maybe we can work with him. Or if the guy's a Democrat, this guy worked right here. What happens is black people do not come to the table with something that they want. They will say, "Well, what you gonna do for us?" and everything. Let me tell you something. Politics is about first of all socialization. Socialization means you got churches, community leagues, fraternities, all these things where you know the problems, you hear the problems every day, you have ideas and everything. You socialize. You know what I'm saying? You have a social network and everything. And then when you have all those ideas and everything like that, then it's time to put it into political action. You know what I'm saying? You say, well, this is what we want. The problem in Black America is people know understand what this right here, and then it goes spills over to popular culture. We got way too many black people, right, who just simply don't want to be black, who hate being black, who hate black people, who hate their own race and everything, and nothing you do or say will solve their problems. You know what I'm saying? We at the Black African Infrastructure Organization of people love ourselves. We love our community. We love ourselves. We love our race. This and the other thing. So you understand what we're all about. You read our about section. This is what we're all about. It's not very thing. I'm not trying to fly to the moon. I'm not. It's not all this other stuff. When you listen to a lot of people, you ask them, "What exactly do you people want?" Nobody could tell you it right now. The Democrats can't tell black people why. It's just impeach Trump, impeach Trump. What exactly do you want? Politics is about give and take and everything. What exactly do the black And then when these same people, when you tell them, well, do you speak for them? Yeah. And these people will jump up and knock you upside the head if you disagree with their vague and abstract idea opposition. I'm like, look, you got to come to the table.
Here's my favorite column. Trump's a fascist. Trump is a fascist. He's a fascist.
Oh yeah, Trump's a racist.
He's Nazism. It's Nazism.
What the hell?
The Nazis.
What the hell does Trump racism have to do with goddamn anything right now? The bottom line is, if you ever give every president racist, you know what I'm saying? They're all racist. The bottom line is this. The bottom line is this. We just had a Chicago weekend with 130 something people shot. I'm like this: 130 people shot, 12 people killed fatally in Chicago in one weekend. 4th of July weekend, you're supposed to be celebrating fireworks and you call yourself a black conservative. How come no black conservative can ever go to a black community and enjoy the 4th of July? Because you get shot and killed. Is that what you're trying to conserve? The bottom line is this: Black America is very clear. The whole thing is this: you go to anybody, any inner city communities, real people. You know, the people there's black people out there that know they're good. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you talk about what they want, it's never look. We need jobs. We need safe communities and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We want to build our families up. We'll take care of our kids. We love our children and everything. Just give me a chance to be a man and feed my family, take my care of my kids and everything, and we'll be happy. The whole thing idea is this: what will make you happy, black folks? What will make you happy? If you're the type of person that nothing can make you happy, you can't join me as a nationalist because nothing I say is going to make you happy. If you basically uh, uh, um, a miserable person inside, keep your misery away from you. Keep it away from everybody else. But if you say, look, you know, something, I'm a sane, rational person. I know certain things that I know on this life, I can be happy in this life what God made me. You know what I'm saying? But if you're looking for, let me give you an example, Dynasty. It's, it gets really hard for me. I looked at a video yesterday, right? And there was a picture of Africanus McGill from Liberia, right? The black guy looks like Lincoln. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen that picture? You know, and they put Abraham Lincoln beside him, right? And they said this is the real Abraham Lincoln, right? It was a video. I didn't even bother watching the video. Do
Hold
you
on,
know this?
hold on. Is that the white versus the real black Abraham Lincoln? Is that the
Yeah,
picture?
yeah. That was Africanus McGill from the McGill family of Liberia. So they took this picture, and this. Do you know this thing had 5 million views? 5 million views, and you had people in the comments. See,
You know what's gonna happen?
I was lied all along. You Abraham Lincoln was black.
Right. And
Yeah,
Colin, in my comment section, here comes we are the indigenous Moors from Turtle Island. And
yeah.
Abraham Lincoln was a black man, and John Hanson was the first black president.
Oh,
And we
oh, oh, oh,
Moors,
oh.
as Moors, we used to protect Abraham Lincoln and John Hanson.
Yeah, and the bottom line is this sort of ignorance. See, this is what's happening. You have these ignorant fools out here spreading this nonsense, and they're freaking getting away with it. They're spreading this ignorant nonsense, and I can, like I said, between the black Moors, the black conservatives, who else? The black Hebrew Israelites, all these crazy black people, you know what I'm saying, are coming along and whatnot, misleading black people down the primrose path to destruction. You know, I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, let's line them all up. You know what I'm saying? The black Moors, the black conservatives, you know what I'm saying? All these people are crazy. The black Hebrew Israelites, all these people are nuts. They're crazy. You know, they twist history, twist back. The biggest thing is, do you know the Democrats were big slaveholders and whatnot? Democrats are party of slavery. Lincoln was a party of that freed the slaves. That's the narrative, right? They don't tell you that in the 1940s when Strom Thurmond stormed out of the Democratic Party at the convention when they introduced the civil rights plaque, and the Democrats, a lot of Dixiecrats went over to the Republican Party. You know what I'm saying? Republican Party, and there was a switch. Black people went from Republican Party to Democratic Party in the wake of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Truman, and then JFK, and then Johnson. And black people switched parties from the party of Lincoln to the Democratic Party. It doesn't matter, but that right there was still nascent in many ways, just tenuous if you look at it, because any politics is just temporary. You know, you still got the Democratic Party was still those good old boys from the deep South like Jimmy Carter, Huey Longs, you know, and the Bill Clintons, the Al Gores, and the Johnson, President Johnson, all these. You know, didn't George Wallace run as a Democrat? Was he a Democrat? I'm not sure. You know, but the whole thing is this. So you don't really have black people made up a significant caucus in the Democratic Party when Jesse Jackson was running, or go run Jesse run, you know? And then you had the working class whites, you know, of working class whites of who were blue collar and everything like that. They voted Democrat and everything. And the Republicans were always seen as the establishment, you know, the institutions, the banks, the lawyers guilds, and all these other things, the big media companies. Those were always considered Republican strongholds, you know, the institutions. the police, the courts, the military, uh, the businesses, Wall Street. Those are all Republican institutions. They believe in the idea of this is a constitutional republic, as opposed to just basically a democracy, which is basically ruled by the whim of the electorate. They believe that there's standards and there's things that are institutional that should take precedence over than things being turned during the electorate at all times. So I get to the back to the person where it says, how can you be a black and be a conservative? I just don't know. Now you could say I'm black and I'm conservative. I don't believe in abortion. You could say I don't believe in gay marriage. I believe a man and a woman, marriage between a man and a woman, a man and a wife. I'm a Christian, and you could say I'm all these things right here, and they should say I'm a conservative and everything. But when looking at the populist version of the Republican Party right now, why are you joining the Republican Party when they don't even uphold those so-called conservative values? They're more into populism. It's more populist. The American public, on by and large, reject those sort of conservative values. Look at Donald Trump. He has three. He was his third marriage. You know what I'm saying? He's not a saint. He has third marriage. His son's going through a divorce right now. This idea of the apple pie, true blue conservative, and you just little league and all stuff like this. All this facade of a conservative doesn't exist anymore. Look at Fox News. Fox News is supposed to be conservative, but from what I hear around there, it's like the Playboy Mansion. You know what I'm saying? I heard this Roger Ailes, the whole look at the lady, the way the women are scantily dressed and everything like that. Can you actually say Fox News is conservative, or can you say they're right wing? Now, if you are black conservative, are you black right wing? Now, if you say you're black right wing or black extremist or black right wing, a black white person and everything like Sheriff David Clark and what you call Jesse Lee Peterson and everything. What kind of friggin' nutcase are you? You know what I'm saying? You're spewing out white racist talk. It's the point Jesse Lee Peterson spews out white racist talking points worse than the Ku Klux Klan. Everything he says is anti-black, anti-black, and it feeds into the idea of white nationalism and white superiority. You know, and you ask the person, well, what do you think about all these people who come up to you and say, well, I'm a black conservative and everything, but and I asked them the question. I asked the girl in the comment for your last show. I said, I baited her. I said, well, Jesse Lee Peterson. First thing she gets up there and starts defending Jesse Lee Peterson. You know, Jesse Lee Peterson. She starts saying, well, they're a different voice. And I said, I knew it. I knew it. You know what I'm saying? I knew it. The bottom line is when they start defending Jesse Lee Peterson and Larry Elder and all these fools and everything like that, that's what you know what a so-called black conservative is. It's all about trying to freaking hustle and freaking make a fool out of black people and say what white racists want to hear. Oh, they're concerned about the so-called community. They're concerned about the community. They want a different perspective. Okay, well, you asked the question, well, last year, man, so many white people died of opiate drugs and everything. And we put it there. Well, how come you guys aren't concerned about that? I'm concerned about, look, man, I'm concerned about the number of white people dying of opioid drugs, man. I'm like this. White people are doing really bad. In my city, most of the people panhandling are white. You know what I'm saying? I'm really concerned about the future of white people. I really am, Dice, man. You know what I'm saying? I just wish Jesse Lee Peterson and all these so-called black conservatives would care more about white people that are really dying. There's more poor of them. You go to poor city counties in America are in places like Kentucky, western part of Virginia, West Virginia, and everything, and you got black communities that earn way more. They don't ever talk. You know how they never. The story is they never show you uh, prosperous black communities like in Uniondale, New York City. The wealthiest community in New York City is a black community in Queens, New York. The wealthy, the biggest concentration of wealth, is the black community in New York. People don't even know that. Highest incomes. White people, for the most part, still live outside the city. In New York City, the wealthiest communities are black communities in New York, and that took hundreds of years to do that. People just basically, for generations after generations, have had houses paid off for generations, and people coming from the islands, everything got good jobs, the doctors, lawyers, professionals, and everything like that. This is what goes on in New York City, but you never hear about it. You never hear about people ever talk about Jamaica States or Jamaica Queens and places like that. You know, but you don't hear that. All you hear is when you talk about New York City. Well, let me mention New York because New York is not really is you don't really have the poverty level like you do other places. But they always say, okay, let's talk about black community. They go right to the Chicago. It's like, oh Lord. You go to St. Louis, oh Lord. You know what I'm saying? They go to Gary, Indiana. It's like, oh Lord, and everything. And then what they'll do is they'll make it seem like the people are lazy in the black community and everything. But when it goes to the white community and everything, oh, the reason why people haven't had I haven't done 15 years. Steel mill shut down. Well, Jesse Lee Peterson will say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You can get out there and find work and everything like that. No, he won't say it to the white guy. You know what I'm saying? He'll just say, yeah, we know the steel mill shut down, that factory shut down, and you haven't had a job and you've been selling beer cans to live and everything. But yes, the economy's going to come around. We need your vote and everything. But at the same time, black people, when you're Gary, Indiana, the black community, the steel mill shut down and everything, was there any sympathy for the so-called black community? No. Bums, ain't the white, nobody should have to create you a job, blah, 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 blah. That's the so-called narrative when it comes down to black people, and the so-called black conservatives, what I'm saying, spew that nonsense. It's black people's fault when the economy is bad and there's no jobs and everything, but when it's white people's fault, it's the economy, you know what I'm saying? It's illegal immigration, and all these people think, Carl sounds conservative. He said just that you think conservative means you agree with Jeff Sessions. The bottom line is this. Anytime somebody says they're conservative or not, I know either they're stupid or they're disingenuous. The bottom line is you're stupid or just disingenuous. Because the whole thing is this. The whole thing about America is this. When white people fail, right? Like you had the Dust Bowl, remember the Dust Bowl migrants? And all these white farmers lost their jobs in the Midwest. They worked the land. They didn't really know how to work the land like we did, And they worked their land, so they had to sell their farms. And they started migrating to places like Chicago and Detroit. And they started basically trying to take jobs away from black people, and the race riots broke out in places like Detroit and everything because black people had established something, right? In Detroit, we said, oh, we got something going on. We got a black city here. Here comes the white people, and the white power structure said, wow, we got white people moving in now, man. Let's just start work on, and black people said, hell no. Hell no. You got these people out there who couldn't make their farms work and everything. Now they want to come over and take the jobs away from the black people who came there and built Detroit and Pittsburgh and all these other places, everything. So we're never getting any credit for the work what we did. So I want to ask a question that said, what is a so-called black conservative? What exactly are you trying to freaking conserve? And let's not talk about Jesse's people. Let's talk about the sister we had on last night, right? Okay, her name is Shirley. And she was like, "Yo, get out there, and we gotta get out there and demand." First of all, let me tell you something. When you have usually when people have power or they have something, they already they don't have to have a demand. People know what they want. Usually they're organized to the point where what the alt right wants, okay? You know what the Tea Party wants, right? You know what the Freedom Caucus wants. All these caucuses and everything like that. And the thing, you know what they want. You know what these bankers and these other people want. These other type of conservatives. Are you talking about conservatives? Or are you talking about Republicans? They're two different things. If you're conservative, why not form a black conservative party, right? Well, you ain't gonna go much far. You ain't gonna go far with it, right? But the whole thing is this: why engage the Republican Party, right? When the Republican Party is like this, right? There's a Republican machine, right? That sets the policy. That's the People don't want to admit this right now. You got the alt right, you have the Freedom Caucus, you got the constitutionalist conservatives. You have the never Trumpers. You have all these other factions in the Republican Party, right? A Republican Party. Through this backbiting and ALEC, in that group ALEC, you got all these things going on, right? Going on, right, in the hierarchy and everything, right? What brings the Republican out, puts it all together, right, is the energized base, right? The base is the rank and file people who you see at the conventions, and they're all drunk and they're with blowing their throwing balloons up and everything. They know they're part of one big grand old party called the Republican Party. They don't really care about the intricacies and everything. All they know is they have a united party and they're the base that's going to be the foot soldiers and dragging people to the polls. And basically, the Republican ideology and thing is going to prevail. How much of the Freedom Caucus, how much of the alt right and everything gets to sway, that'll be decided later. But it's the base, the rank and file, flag waving, flag saluting dude, and man and woman out there is basically the ones that leads the charge. They're the foot soldiers, right? Now, how is it that you're going to engage the base? Without the base, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party lost its base. You know what I'm saying? The black community could have been this base, and I don't know. The whole thing about your political base, one thing about the Republican Party is the base seems to be really homogeneous, right? And as homogeneous as the fact that, and it's only going to grow. America might end up in 10 years being a one-party state because what's happening is this: you got all these different. What could have broke it up with all these alt right and everything. The Republican Party is like, oh, they're starting to embrace the alt right. Oh, they're not so bad. Blah blah blah. They say what we. There's not really much difference between the alt right nowadays, the Ku Klux Klan, the alt right, and mainstream conservative talking points. And the alt right has it so okay, you're allowed to have a black friend, and they bring that one black friend along, like Jesse Lee Peterson. Okay, this is our black friend right here. You know what I'm saying? He agrees with everything we say. Yeah, niggas ain't shit. Blah 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 blah. See? You know what I'm saying? That's progress. You know what I'm saying? You see, that is actually that the conservative movement is progress. You know what I'm saying? Because before, no black man could get inside the Republican Party at all. Now, all you have to say things like the black man ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Pull your pants up, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Man, the white man's the best thing since sliced bread, whatnot. America is the greatest country in the world, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I be a Jesse D. Peterson. You know what I'm saying? You better go. The bottom line is this.
Bro, did you say the white man is the best thing since sliced bread?
Yeah, the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah, I be the Reverend Jesse Peterson. You know what I'm saying? And the bottom line is this. That is actually progress. You know what I'm saying? That's actually progress. And you got every fucking buffoon out there ready because there's a lot of money still. If somebody willing to tap dance, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sick of being nice. All right, okay. It's time for Mean Collar. It's time for Mean Collar to come out. It's time.
At least you gave a disclaimer. The disclaimer. Mean Collar.
Yeah, and also, let me say this.
Collar Thanos.
Yeah, Collar Thanos. Check this out. Remember something. The opinions and the words and opinions of the colonization does not necessarily reflect the views of the Black African infrastructure. I have to put that disclaimer out there. My words do not necessarily reflect the views of the Black African infrastructure organization. If I say things, whatever like that, that's all me. Hold me responsible, hold me accountable, and everything like that. It's not have nothing to do with the organization. Has nothing like that. The BAIO is on a different level. Okay. Now look, the bottom line is this. Bottom line is this, right? If you want to tap dance, you know what I'm saying, for a few nickels and dimes and everything, get some recognition, go join the Republican Party because Democrats aren't paying. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what they want. They got a hard on for the illegal alien vote. Why? Because the illegal alien is trapped. They're gonna be trapped for the next 50 or 100 years. You know what I'm saying, in America, right? They're gonna be trapped. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be trapped in America, so they need people that'll help us. Black America, really give yourself a hand. You made some progress. You know what I'm saying? You're not trapped in the same cycle of poverty and stuff like that. We didn't know how to deal with success. Black people don't know how to deal with success. We don't even know how to basically measure success. We don't even know what we are. The bottom line is this: get out of the black people, right? America is never going to accept you, right? Never accept you, and you are never going to turn white. You know what I'm saying? The white man is not going to look. Let me tell you something. White people get up every day and thank God for that white skin. They get up every day, thank God for that white skin. They thank God when they look at you that they're not you, because they know the system and the culture that we live in, culture we live in, is geared towards them. It's their system, it's their dominion, their domain. They're always gonna feel superior to you. You know what I'm saying? They're grateful to being white. Now, how you have to put yourself in a situation where you say, "Thank God I'm black." You cannot do it in their system. You have to build your own infrastructure, your own global system, which you are part of. That's what the Black African Infrastructure Organization is all about. We're going to have a global system, a business, industry, trade, everything like that, and education, everything like that across the board. You know what I'm saying? Wherever we are or where we're at, that we can plug into. Global networks, you know what I'm saying? Institutions, global. And anybody who stands in our way, let me tell you something, and I'm gonna tell you something controversial. There's things that you die for, you know what I'm saying, you care about, you may die for us, I'm gonna give my life for. But when you really know you have something that you want or you desire, there's things on this life that you're willing to kill for. I'll just leave that like that. When you have the idea of saying that one day we'll have a nation state of our own that's going to represent us, no matter where we're at, where we're on the Arctic Ocean or we're in Japan, whatever, that nation state, that flag is going to be our symbol on that soil is going to represent us in the diaspora, and it's going to represent us on a global scale in every halls of government across the world. We're not that is something to go to war for. That's what we want. You know what I'm saying? And when we have that, we're not that little thing about the American flag and trying to be American and stuff like that, that's gonna look so small. That's gonna look so insignificant. You know what I'm saying? God bless little Donald Trump's heart. But when you see what we potentially can have, a whole continent to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? 200 something million people in the African diaspora. If we put it all together, we would not need any of these people. There was a story, Diane, run that story about the Chinese. That got me so burnt up. The Chinese, not only they build a railway in Kenya, right? And I have a friend of ours who lives in Kenya who keeps telling us, "Oh, Kenya, we got it going on over here. The black man controls everything." Blah 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 blah. Then one guy told me, person told me, said, "Look, the problem in Kenya is we have a ruling elite. The problem in Africa is you have these so-called ruling elites, and they say, well, African American. They know if we come over there." The so-called ruling elites do not want so-called African Americans over there. They want to keep people dumb, poor, and ignorant. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is poverty is how they keep the people in line. You know what I'm saying? Keep people in line by keeping them poor, keeping them desperate, control them with military force, with prison, and they'll stay in line. That's the way it is. Go ahead. What about that story, Dinus?
Well, I was gonna say what we'll do. We'll just keep it on the Black conservatives because of time.
Oh yeah. I just wanted to throw that in there. You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
but basically, I just want to say, you know, bottom line is this. Bottom line is this. We as black race have to keep fighting because there's people that want to oppress us and humiliate us. You know what I'm saying? Now back to our friends in the black so-called conservative movement. You know what I'm saying? The black conservative movement, right? I still to this day can't get a thing. How you going to talk politics when you don't even know who you are? You know what I'm saying? You know when you see Richard Spencer, the alt right, you know what he's about. You know what I'm saying? When you see David Duke, it don't really take much to see what he's about or what he wants. You know what I'm saying? When you see the Koch brothers, you know what they want. You know what I'm saying? You know all these people out here, they got white men who got power and everything. They know what they want. When you see these young white Republican kids, conservative kids that come popping up all over the place on college campuses and everything, you know what they want. You know what I'm saying? They want their country back. They want this country to be a white country, a white heaven, and everything. And if black people, if they can have that 1 to 2 black people that play along, actually that's progress. Because before they didn't even want that. Am I right, Dinus? They didn't even want that. I remember back in the '80s, they didn't even want black and so-called conservatives. You know, they didn't want that. But now they'll say, okay, we'll let a few black conservatives in. And another thing is this. I noticed too that a lot of so-called black conservatives are black immigrants. You know what I'm saying? They're black immigrants, always black immigrants. You know, if I talk to some of my my African brothers, they all sound like Uncle Ruckus. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, yeah, this, that, yo thing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, look, there's some nuances to America. Yeah, but there's all they see is the fact that we got toilets that work, you know what I'm saying? And we got electricity that's stable 24 hours. To them, man, that means America's heaven and paradise. They got toilets, you know what I'm saying, that flush, and they have electricity lights that come on, and this, that, yo thing. So there's a whatever problem they look at Negroes, they're like, man, there's something wrong with y'all. This is heaven. This is heaven over here. And so, therefore, when they believe you believe that, you get invited to on your college campus or how America is this. America. And look at Dinesh D'Souza. He's an immigrant. You know what I'm saying? Full blown conservative. Why? Because the country he comes from is a shithole. India is a freaking hell on earth. You know what I'm saying? Not saying all India. There's parts of India that are very developed. But for the most part, when you look at America compared to a lot of these countries, most of the conservatives that are coming here now are usually coming from poor countries. You know what I'm saying? Most white people who are liberal foreigners there, they come from Scandinavian countries. They come from countries that are doing very well economically, socially, and that's why they tend to be liberal. You know what I'm saying? America is attracting people from poor countries, and they tend to be very, very conservative. You know, conservative. Or they see America's ideology and point of view. Point of view. So that's basically what it is. And like I said, uh, you give me king. You know, I'll give read some of these questions. Government control every aspect as an abuse of power. Yeah, yeah. Clark Kent says, I'm conservative. I'm against abortion. I believe in self help. I don't believe in government dependence. Who the heck is I want to understand something. When people say government dependency, I want to clarify that. You know what I'm saying? People say government depends. Who depends on the government? A very small fraction of the American public. You know what I'm saying? Usually the poorest people depend on the government. But when you say government dependency, doesn't the government basically make sure that foreign companies pay up? Or what about these tariffs Trump's throwing on foreign companies like Mercedes-Benz and everything? That's going to help American auto industries out and everything. Now, should the government stop protecting American industries? Well, that's different. That's different. Well, you said government dependency. Every aspect of life in America depends on the government for in some sort of way. Are you saying that basically the only people that should be that use the government are the rich and powerful? Are we back to a aristocratic class where only rich people have access to the government and the average person should do, oh, don't worry about the government, don't worry about the government. You know, bottom line is if I'm paying taxes on something, I'm going to see what I can get out of it. Let me tell you the thing. I do business, right? I know for a fact of the matter what frustrates me is I got a couple of issues with the one of the businesses I'm in and everything. I don't have the political power to fight the system. It's intrinsic, it's corrupt, and everything like that. I wish I did, but it goes so deep. It's beyond me. You know, it's beyond me. It's beyond my comprehension. It's beyond me. Hold up, Dennis. Yo, I'm doing a radio show. I'll call you. Call me later. I'm doing a radio show. Call me later. Yeah, call me later. I lost my train of thought, Diana. What was I just saying?
Uh, just going off on black conservatives. I mean, like you've been doing.
Oh yeah. Okay, what I'm saying basically is what we have is in America is people will say, "Don't we need the government?" But you do need the government. Government basically. Oh no, what I'll say was, if I had the time and effort, I would fight these people. I would fight, and there's a lot of things that small black businessmen, you know what I'm saying? Small black businessmen are getting screwed. No one. It's like, let me give you a perfect example. Perfect example I'm talking about. The most neglected, the most hated and pariah is a so-called small black business owner. You know what I'm saying? Really, there is absolutely no support system, no support system for your interests. Well, what do you think? How can we do this better? How can we do this better? How can we do this? Well, if you in a black business and everything like that, you are completely on your own, right? So I asked a question. I can ask a question. Why would I throw my vote behind the Democrats or Republicans when if I see certain things that are not being addressed as far as I'm concerned? Why would I do that? Oh, you gotta vote for vote for this column, vote for this. Look, I don't just throw my vote around any place. You know, there are no real black small business associates. We do have them, right? But when it comes down to policy that can help expand black businesses and everything, now there's a couple of things in the law that helps minority females, black females and everything. But for you're a black male, you're pretty much on your own. When it comes down to business and everything like that, there's crap about government set aside for black people and all those kind of SBA loans, all this kind of stuff like that. I've been through it for years. It's a lie. It is a friggin' lie. Nobody ever brings that up when we talk about black people. There's a lot of black people who have ideas to put people to work and everything. And the so-called government has funding, right? I listen to radio show after radio show after radio show, right? Not just this show, everything like that. I listen to people's blogs, everything like that. And we got so-called college-educated people, and nobody made it. We got people. Howard University is a few blocks from Washington D.C. How come no one's ever said, look, how do we access government funding and everything that's supposed to be out there, right? How do we leverage that? We still got to get collateral. This, that. You mean tell me we can't put it all together, right? Do you know who does this? The Chinese and all these foreigners come over here. They study the government of America, and they come over here as foreigners, and they get access to loan with the overseas private corporation and stuff like that, finance the XM export bank and all stuff like this and everything like that. They do it. But yet we have all these black people and everything like that who call themselves leaders and everything, and nobody ever access these things that for our benefit. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? You go to Boyce Watkins thing. You pay what $2,000 for a kit. That's like a multi-level marketing thing or not, and you're gonna be $2,000 broke. There are things that access the system, but it takes politics. There was this one case, right, where this white guy in the Bronx a few years ago. We really wanted South Bronx got revitalized, right? There was this white kid, right, who graduated from. He was real rich. His family was rich and everything like that. He was living in the South Bronx. White kid, this and the other thing. And I think his girlfriend was black, you know. But anyway, they find he sued the city of New York, whatever he made things turn, and he got millions of dollars of funding for new housing and co-ops for the residents there. You know what I'm saying? And they opened up small business shops and everything. They built little strip malls in the heart of the South Bronx, and they revitalized the whole community. They say he did that. Why? Because he went there, pulled out the books, studied, right? Pull out, okay, this right here says this right here says this. He was a law student, you know, took his time and found the laws and stuff like that that's available and everything, and he did that. But we don't have people advocating or doing advocacy like that in our community. We don't have people advocating for us in our community, right? But they want you to freaking come vote for them. They want you to come vote for them or listen to their freaking political ideology. And now, the creme de la creme is they not only they don't do that, now you got a new crop of trying to lead us to the Republican Party. After years of the Democrats not doing anything, right? Now we're going to a party that really don't care about us, right? And the people's leaders there has no track record of success in the community to show for it. When you basically are trying to lead people to politics, show me your socialization, show me your accomplishments and everything, right? Say because that's what's gonna tell me where you stand for. Now, if you haven't done anything and you say well, it's time for we have these ideas, we're gonna bring them to the Republican Party, we're gonna demand this that thing. It's like this. What's the difference between that and basically what happened in 1988 where, well, actually we got where 88 where we had all these demands and everything, but Jesse Jackson said screw it because he didn't get the vice presidency and everything, and so therefore the whole coalition fell apart because Jesse came home and stomped his feet because he thought he was going to get the vice presidency because he was so
Jesse thought he was gonna rise up. He thought he didn't even rise
rise
up.
up here. Jesse, run. If they don't say nails like Jesse, they gave Lloyd Benson, right? A white Southerner, Lloyd Benson, the vice presidency, right? And then next thing you know, you see Jesse Jackson. He's on the stage crying. About to say all his ego and that. So Jesse, okay, let's help them win anyway. So Jesse went around trying to sabotage them, sabotage it. Had Dukakis won, Black America would have been different to this thing, you know. Well, but it was more important for Jesse to show his ass and stomp his feet because he didn't get the vice president nomination. Well, like I said, that was 30 years ago. No sense of crying over spilt milk. But the bottom line is, I'm wary of any sort of political party. Now, if you say you're conservative, like I said in the show earlier, okay, I get what you're coming from. You don't like this, you don't like that, you don't like gay marriage, blah blah blah. But what does that have to do with politics? What does that have to do when you try to convince black people to go out there and vote? You know what I'm saying? Our socialization of who we are as a people have to be right first. You know what I'm saying? Where we are, the biggest thing to me, the biggest threat right now in Black America is these urban war zones. You know what I'm saying? If you walk it up, and also the police brutality and the police and these 911 calls to black people harassing black people 24 hours a day, the basic quality of life where you could be humiliated by the police or you be killed in a crossfire in your community and everything, and then just the violence and just the overall self hate and degradation that goes on in Black America. These things have to change. You know what I'm saying? If we don't basically have a more pleasant, more peaceful culture, and it starts with our music, it starts with the things we watch on TV, and it starts with all these things that basically that are affecting our mind and everything. And also, you have to give our people hope. What do you hope for? What do you believe in? What do you aspire to? If you don't have those things together, you ain't gonna have no political. Because once you have all those things together, then you're naturally going to gravitate towards a political affiliation, political party that reflects what you believe. I'll tell a story, right? Like if you go down to and places like Jamaica, Queens, New York, right, where black people started migrating in the late 50s, and people got homeowners and everything. They live in all black communities their whole life, never known anything else. All black communities. You'll find black people down there that are actually super conservative. Pro-American, super conservative, and everything like that. They don't have any associated white people, but they just basically live in a corner of America that's theirs. That's probably the only place in America where you really can see the world like that because you have generations of stable black communities on the Atlantic seaboard here. You know what I'm saying? When you got people like, never basically have to worry about police brutality, don't really have a lot of crime, and you got people who have kids going off to college educated people that taking trips to the Hamptons and Sag Harbor, to the vacation for island. They live normal American lives and everything like that, and not bad. I got fair relatives like that. People are real wealthy. You know what I'm saying? So they automatically see themselves as they're just Americans. You know what I'm saying? And they have been for generations. We're Americans. You know what I'm saying? Nothing else. Nothing to ever challenge challenge the ideology of being nothing else but just American. I'm just an American, whatever. I don't belong to any black power struggle. Yeah, the perfect example of this is you ever seen the movie The Equal? You ever seen that movie? Remember,
Yeah, I've seen it.
remember the part where what's his name? Glenn Tubman. You know what I'm saying? And what's his name? Joe Morgan. They'll argue. Remember that he was like a conservative Nixon type. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like that. You have a where I come, South Jamaican Queens have a lot of dudes like that. You know what I'm saying? They're very, very pro-American. That's not nothing new. That's nothing new. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing new. There's nothing new about seeing black conservatives and people who think like that. The problem is when you try to bring in a racist Republican Party for a white conservative. You know what I'm saying? There's always been a black American here. You know what I'm saying? And my challenge is, I bet you any amount of money I could get some of those so-called those staunch black conservatives like that to see things the BAIL way. You know what I'm saying? They'll see things we are. They'll have a much better day. We show that we're about progress, we're about education, we're about industry and trade and everything. We got people flocking to the BAIO every day. People from all kinds of backgrounds. I'm actually shocked and amazed at the success of the black guy. Aren't you, Dinus? Are you shocked you see this? You know what I'm
It's going.
saying?
People email me all the time. How do I
Yeah,
join? I do.
people are joining the BAIO like it's not going out of style. It's beyond. We had the social network for 3 years, man, but now it's like the message is getting out there. We're getting invited on different shows, and it's growing. And what we want to do is this: BAIO is like a society for nationalists. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. Look, bottom line is this: socialization. We joined the BAO in a chapter. We want people to get to know each other. Guys, have some cookouts, some barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Go out to the beach sometimes. You know what I'm saying? We understand we're all nationals. We want people to get to know each other. Take the kids out to the movies. You know what I'm saying? Do normal things and everything. You know, have a Kwanzaa thing. You know, if you want to. Whatever you want to do. Main thing is social. Don't be freaking stiff and don't be fake. Socialization. Get to know each other. You know what I'm saying? Get to know each other. You guys, you got two young couples. Have a double date. Go out for a night out of town. You know, leave the politics and all that alone. You know what I'm saying? In other words, basically, when you join us, you're joining people for life. This is eternal. This is gonna last forever. You know what I'm saying? One day, this is gonna be so big globally. You know what I'm saying? Globally, people are like, how the hell did this happen? You know, we didn't create the BL. We didn't create it was already there. All we're doing is it's like a puzzle. It's like no, just like a sculpture. If you have a sculpture, right, and you have the big clay, all we're doing is carving out the unessentials, right? And then the truth of what you're trying to build is revealed. That's all we're doing with the BAIO. We just put it out there and everything, and it's naturally, organically, it's taking shape. You know, by itself. We don't have to do much. You know, people are like, well, this is right here. Yeah, this we ought to be doing business with Africa. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we ought to be vacationing over here. We ought to own land over here. You know what I'm saying? Why are we letting the Chinese do this? We ought to be here. We ought to be doing that. We ought to do this. We ought to be fixing our community. All these things that the VAL talk about. And they're like, well, yeah, this is not enough. This is not rocket science. This is what we should be doing in the first place. This is the first time in the first organization that's organizing the people as normal. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to change people's religion, not trying to change anything. We have different religions, we have different backgrounds, everything. Always saying we're trying to create a social order. You know what I'm saying? We have a social order, then you have a political order. You know what I'm saying? And economics will just basically put it all together. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is you have to have a social order. You have to get to know each other. Most black people don't know who we are. You know what I'm saying? We think we do. We have a vague abstraction. Hey, Diane, have you ever went to a meeting, right? So-called Black Power meeting. I've been to them before, and everybody's just saying the other thing. But then after the meeting, no one even looks each other in the eye and is walking out. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, I knew for a fact that a lot of these meetings are shallow. You know what I'm saying? They go to hear a speaker, blah blah blah, and that's why none of these groups they withered away. That's why you don't see them anymore. Because when you're real, you know what I'm saying? You have relationships. You build relationships. There's a sense of brotherhood and sisterhood and kinship that comes. You know what I'm saying? That you care about each other, you love each other, you care about each other. But when you don't basically have those things and everything like that, what you have is fake, phony, and a wither away. That's anybody that's coming to you, whether it's me or a black conservative, whatever like that. If it's real, you'll feel it. You know what I'm saying? You'll feel the energy, and you'll feel what the person's trying to say. And I know Dinah's got to get ready to go.
Hold on one second. I haven't heard. No, they're behind. So, bro, we can keep it rolling. Let's roll. Keep it.
Okay. Now, what you call it? We'll some of these questions in here. Yeah, some of these questions in here. Let's see. Darius says
we could address questions. Like pretty much, I have about 15 more minutes, and then.
Okay, let's say Darius Lamb says Africa should be in Liberia. Yo, in a beautiful world, had it not been for that, cool, yes. But there's no way the George Weah, the indigenous people, Eugene Faga, whatever his name is, no way these people ever govern my people. No, it doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to govern us. No. African Americans, yeah, I'm sorry, man. We'll lose civilization. We cannot lose civilization. You know what I'm saying? We can't go into the dark ages. You know what I'm saying? We can't be shut up and everything. Our light, our energy, the energy of Black America that changed the world and gave the world so much, would have to be able to shine. Dash, you agree with me on that? Black America has to shine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why do people want to stifle Black America? You gotta change. You gotta change. What are people afraid of us so? Are we really Thanos? You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, with the people terrified of us so much, they think Black America Thanos. You know what I'm saying? We're like, what the hell? You gotta change. You gotta change your language. You gotta. Bottom line is, Black America needs to be a place where we can contribute, like you said, 100%. You know what I'm saying? 100% to what we gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Any attempt to friggin' stifle our thing. Now, some people legitimately will say, "Well, Colin, man, you guys, you might as well just because I'm stuck in America right now, don't mean I have to basically be stuck up America's ass." You know what I'm saying? Some people got their heads so far from America's ass, they can look out to America's nose. You know what I'm saying? Just because we're in America, don't mean you got a right to force us into this pseudo assimilation called Black conservatism. No, it don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? We have each other. We have a social network. Most of us are doing well. Do I have our job? Look, let's play this Donald Trump's game. You know, didn't Donald Trump say this is the highest labor participation in history, and we have the lowest Black unemployment rate? You know what I'm saying? And when the numbers come out, the number of Black people generally would be like $2 trillion. So let's ride this out. What do we have to make any real political moves for right now? Hey, Diane, do you know? Couldn't we just ride this out and just keep our money to ourselves?
Well, that's what I suggested last night, but they were like, "We need to participate." I was like,
"Participate in what?" The Chinese aren't participating. You know what I'm saying? And they're sucking dry. They're sucking this country dry. I would like for you, if I wish I could have brought it. I wish I should have my camera out. The number of Chinese I saw in upstate New York at that Monticello casino, it scared the whole people. Said, "Yo, you bottom line, Chinese are everywhere. They're freaking taking over." You know what I'm saying? This hotel, it was so nice. This hotel and casino was so nice, right? And busloads of Chinese people coming up from the city and everything like that. I mean, they were all over the place. And then they said the top executive lounge up there, only Chinese, high-end Chinese up there. It's a gambling lounge or whatever like that. That building was so friggin' beautiful. I told the story, beautiful one night. But the Chinese are everywhere. They're not apologizing. They're buying up real estate like it ain't funny in America. They're pulling their money together and they're buying. It's all about being Chinese. You know what I'm saying? They're not apologizing. We're the only fools that are trying to get out of being Black. Don't you understand? You got 2 billion Black people in the world. If you unite, you'll be invincible. Race is real. You know what I'm saying? We're part of the African American tribe, part of the African nation. You know what I'm saying? We're from the African American part of the African diaspora. That's our tribe. You know what I'm saying? That's our race. That's our tribe. You know what I'm saying? And we got to keep going with that. That's who we are. We're a family. We're a tribe. We're a people. You know what I'm saying? If, like I said, the bottom line, if you don't understand that, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, we got somebody says Chinese will never fully take over. That's why we call eminent domain. You know what I'm saying? Well, they don't want to completely take over, but they're actually dominating. Where we see, you see, they're dominating in Africa right now. You know what I'm saying? They're giving out loans like it's left and right, and they're freaking taking over all over. They're freaking the African elephant is in peril. The African rhinoceros is under threat. Chinese fishing vessels are plundering African seas for fish. You know, all they have to do is give an envelope and a suitcase to their favorite African leader. But we do have one African leader on the continent, you know, a friend Paul Kagame of Rwanda, who's turned that country around. You know what I'm saying? Rwanda is a role model for any African country coming up right here. Rwanda is a country we want to be like. You know what I'm saying? You know, strive as the cleanest country on the planet. Kigali is the most beautiful city on the freaking world. One of the most beautiful cities in the world, and the cleanest city in the world. So the bottom line is this. The bottom line is this. We basically gotta understand something. Understand something. We are basically looking to build among ourselves, socialize among ourselves. Socialization is the most important part because we have to know who we are, what we think, and what we want. What we want. Right now, maybe it's a good idea to sit this one out. Let's say let the alt right and these the alt right and these Antifa and those people fight each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting a kick out of this. You know what I'm saying? Let the illegals and all those people fight their own battles. Let's concentrate on ourselves, socialize among ourselves, decide nationhood, you know what I'm saying, or full assimilation. There's only two other ways. If you're going to fully assimilate into America and forget all these black pretense, or nationhood. Now you can do both. You can say, look, I want to, you know, I like what I have in America, and I think I can be here and everything. But the thing is, can those people who say that I like what I have in America and I want to be in America, can they basically respect and coexist with those of us who still think the lost cause of nationhood, like the Jews have the state of Israel, the lost cause of nationhood should be respected? You know, can those two ideologies coincide with each other? Why is it that the so-called people who believe in America, they're so insecure about their American identity that they want to stop out everybody else who don't see it their way? If you really believe in America, you believe that America is your country, you would be no threat. The nationalist movement would be no threat to you. Like me, I'm not threatened by black conservatives. Well, you can go right ahead. Go right ahead. Be what you want to be. Because I know ultimately we're going to win. Why? Because our destiny is in our own hands. When you are conservative or black liberal or Democrat, your destiny is in somebody else's hand, and you're always going to be disappointed. What we have, everything we're building is among ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to set the stage for our own success and failure. It's not going to be in Donald Trump's hand. It's not going to be in Newt Gingrich's hand. It's not going to be in Barack Obama's hand. It's not going to be in Hillary Clinton's hand. It's going to be in our own hands. And right now, I think we got a good hand to play. We got 45 million people. They don't know which way we're going. They don't know anything about Black America anymore. They'll say they don't know what we have planned, what's up our sleeves, we're not. And the whole idea is to get us talking. What are they thinking? What are they thinking? What are they thinking? What are they thinking? What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? The bottom line is they don't know what we're doing. Like Garvey said, he'll say it's our own personal business. You don't know what we're doing. You guys sort out white America. This thing, you know, thing. I think the unemployment rate's low enough that we can sit back and work on our community, work on healing the divisions in our community, and build ourselves up. That's what I think we're gonna do right now. And like I said, one of the organizations doing that is the BAO and several other black groups and everything. Let's heal ourselves and build ourselves up and everything, and forget about nonsense. I'm not saying don't go and vote. Your local elected officials and everything, find out what you want in your community, what you need and everything, and then a politician says what you want to hear, and give them your vote. Don't worry about political party. Don't worry about political. Let me give you an example. Where are we in Virginia?
And then we got
Yeah, here check this out. Here in Virginia, most of the people on the local level, this is so funny. Nobody ever says whether they're Democrat or Republican. You know what I'm saying? When they run, I was like, who's the Democrat Republican? Nobody's bringing it because everybody here is like this. You got all these so-called staunch conservatives, right? Let me tell the story, man. It's pretty funny, right? You had a couple of, this was back in, what year was it? 90.
And then we got, and after that we got to close out.
Okay, 98. We had these two morons who was gassed up over the right Rush Limbaugh types, right? So they came here talking about we're gonna cut this and cut that, and the freaking white Republican people said, "Man, if you don't get your let's cut everything aside because there's a whole this we don't need the rec center, we don't need this." People like, man, if you don't get your they said, well, everybody's talking about this is we gotta cut this and we gotta cut. And like, if you don't get your Newt Gingrich self out of here, get the hell out of here. See, that's good when you talk about cut stuff for black people, right? He came into this city talking about we're gonna cut this program, cut this program. Man, they almost lynched these two dudes. You know, so the bottom line is if white people can look beyond so-called political party and political affiliation, be smart enough to do the same thing. All right, so if you want to look reach me, we are BAIO.
Hey, Miss Bell, if you're Miss Internet Bell Bagay, may you please drop the link in the description. I'm sorry, in the chat room. But go ahead, Kala. Sorry about that. I just came. That just
BAIO. Join our social network. Sign up for a state. We have different organizations inside the BL. All those groups that we're starting, the incubating in the BL. Hopefully, those are gonna be real institutions one day. The STEM group, the military group, the health and wellness medical group, the higher learning, all this stuff like this, all these things that we're gonna build. We want to build them into institutions worldwide. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So we want a revolution in learning and thinking and scholarship and building our best minds together and everything. That's what we're gonna do with the Black African. We have to build our infrastructure globally. You know what I'm saying? So we can act like we want to have relationships with Japan, we can. Relationship with South Africa, we can. We want to have a relationship with Kenya, Saudi Arabia, whoever it is. Black America is open for business. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to be a global people. We're not going to be confined to the 50 states. We're going to be a global people. You know what I'm saying? We're already traveling. We got people, members, that African American members who are living all across seas right now. They're giving us correspondence, what's going on overseas, on the ground, and everything. We're global people. And the bottom line is Black Americans will get stronger and stronger and more powerful. You know what I'm saying? We're going to rival all these other people up there. And like I said, this is the type of organization to hold it all together. You know, and one day we will basically raise our flag on African soil. But that's all I have to say. And thanks for having me tonight.
Rise up on African soil.
We're gonna rise up. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna rise up.
Everybody, hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Kala, for coming on. Shirley, you and Kala, let's hop on together on next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, let's all hop on together. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you go to Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, Africa Personified on those same platforms. Make sure you go to searchforuhuru.com, dynastysamir.com, amazon.com, search your name, Dynasty Amir. Also go to Africa Personified.Africa. Until next time, which will be tomorrow, peace.